amazing success. I don't care. If more than one person hears this and it helps shift something for the positive, for growth of the soul, love, compassion, being seen or heard for who you are, then it was worth it. Three of Swords on top of the Empress in reverse. This is a side message. Some of you have had a maternal figure in your life who has broken your heart. Some of you might want to look at mother wounds, especially with the Cancer I Feel card. Cancer is the mother of the zodiac. I'm going to pull out of that message. Thank you for yet again tolerating my passion and my fire. I do it with love and respect, but I don't back down because I used to be a coward and then I changed. Five of Swords. Some of you want to fight me on that. That's all right. You can go. I wish you well. Goodbye. Anyways, to the rest of us, we're overcoming energies that challenge us like this. Anybody who's telling you that you don't have a right to believe, to have faith, to wake up and find a reason to be happy, when you have struggled with that, when you have been through dark nights, when people have turned their backs on you, you have every right to heal. You have every right to do the work on yourself. For those of us that enjoy the work, who actually look forward to the spiritual wisdom, who appreciate being compassionate, be there for others, yet we have strong boundaries. We understand our limits. We're able to make a choice here. We're able to figure out how to stabilize our realities, how to find purpose and meaning, and how to share that with others. Just pulled the Two of Pentacles card. Some of you wish you could change places with somebody, or you compare yourself to others. You're constantly juggling one side of yourself with the other. And that can come with the Five of Swords here, with toxic people who throw you off balance, who try to cause you harm. It can make you feel like you're constantly struggling in life and trying to juggle your security and your sense of self. High of Earth. It's the Page of Pentacles. Move slow. That's what Spirit's telling you. Move slow. Take steady, deliberate steps. Do the work day in and day out. Every offering of your time towards figuring out who you are is an investment in who you are becoming. And those that are loving and supportive are going to see that. Not everybody is out to hurt you. But there is still a lot out there. There's still a lot of toxicity in the world, and it's understandable to be scared to take the less known path here, right? It can be scary to in a time of uncertainty in the world to journey spiritually, but that's actually how you can become whole and feel more safe in a world. Yet again, if you do the work and you find the safety within yourself, you can reflect that out to the rest of the world. It can make an impact on your direct environment and yourself. And we're not doing it for others, we're doing it for ourselves, right? And that's not selfish. That's called being healed. Seven of Wands. Some of you really defend your beliefs. And I think that's great. That's great. I mean, that's what I was just doing. But the thing is to remember that we defend our beliefs by leading by example, not by putting other people down for theirs that are different than our own. Again, I've kind of hinted at tolerance throughout this reading, and I believe tolerance is very important, which is why I can look at somebody who's hating on me and still send them love, because I understand we're all just human. And no, I don't put up with abuse for me or other people I care about, but I do know what is important. I do know what is important to focus on, where I should put my energy, which is something you can learn to do as well. We have yet again the Lovers in reverse. That is the second time that has come out. Some of you feel like you can't make this choice. You don't know where to start to find union with spirit, to find union with yourself. Spirit, how can these people who are having trouble on their path find what they're looking for? Help them choose. Help them feel like they are the choice. Justice. One more card, Spirit. Six Pentacles upright. We just transmuted that energy. It's your justice to receive this equal give and take. You need to feel like you deserve it. And again, it goes back to self-love. It goes back to self-care. Find ways that you can keep yourself in balance. Find ways that you feel like you're receiving what you deserve, right? What do you deserve? Ask yourself that. What do I deserve? Truly, get down to the heart of it. I think I'm going to pull one or two more cards, and then I might do a psychic read on an oracle card. But I believe we are coming close to the end of this reading. And again, thank you to everyone who quested with us this far. Wow. Queen of Swords again, and it's still upright. For some of you, this is about giving other people their justice. By being balanced, by being fair, by understanding how you can help others, you can bring justice and resolve to other people. Some of you are in a position of authority where you can do that, where you can help people understand things, but do it in a way that you still have your boundaries. And that's the goal, right? To be compassionate yet wise at the same time. That's a goal right there. Ace of Cups upright, just transmuted that energy too. We had the Ace of Cups in reverse at the beginning, and we were talking about how y'all, some of you, or y'all can't give your cup of love. You can't do that until you give the love to yourself. So by using your discernment, by being fair to yourself or being fair to others, you're able to give your cup of love. You're able to find a new beginning with spirit and with your emotional evolvement. You're able to find peace and healing and comfort. And you're able to eventually find that great love if that's what you're looking for. You know, for as stern and tough love as I can be, that's really my Taurus moon coming out. I have a very sturdy moon placement for all the water I have in my chart. And for as stern as I seem, I'm actually a deeply compassionate, sensitive, loving person. And I've learned how to be the Queen of Swords, which was actually the hardest queen for me to master out of all the queens. She was the last one. It's not easy to put your boundaries down all the time, but when you know how to have equal give and take and fair exchange in your relationships with others, you receive your justice. You receive what you deserve. You can start new karmic cycles. Four of Cups. And Seven of Pentacles. Some of you are having a hard time figuring out what is emotionally fulfilling in order to invest. Or some of you have been waiting for somebody to emotionally fulfill you, and you don't want to invest. But that's the opposite of what we're talking about here. And no shade on you. I'm just saying, like, if you're expecting somebody else to bring you back to life, so to speak, and get you to do the work by investing in you, you're always going to be waiting for somebody else to save you. Which means you're always going to end up either with somebody, and this could be romantic or not, it could be any dynamic. You're always going to end up feeling like you're waiting for somebody to, how can I put this? To bring meaning, to make you feel like you want to be an active participant in life. And if that's the case, really, I would look at your childhood wounding. Ask yourself where that belief came in that you had to set yourself last and rely on other people to give you pieces of love. Because then it becomes a system of supply and demand, not of equal give and take. And transaction is not the same as equal reaction. What does that mean? It means that if you're giving to expect something back, or you're like, I do this so you do that, that's a transaction of energy. It's also what we do when we work, right? We do work, we get paid. It's a very materialistic and shallow way of looking at loving. That's not real love. I'm sorry. Some of you aren't going to like that I said that, but it's true. That's not real love, whether it's your sibling, your parents, your child, your coworkers, your romantic partner, your friendships, anybody who is a conscious being who can relate with you, okay? That's also not taking accountability for your own emotional happiness. And it's easy for some people to, it's not easy, but it's habit for some people to expect other people to make them happy. And when they don't, then it's easy to blame those people for not fulfilling what really we should be fulfilling in ourselves. And how do you do that? We go back to the transmutation. We go back to finding something that you can creatively pour into your cup. And creativity, if you're not artistic, it doesn't have to be arts. What makes you feel creative? What makes you feel passionate? Instead of focusing on all these toxic people, and to also get yourself out of emotional despondency, which the Four of Cups can also represent, explore a little. When's the last time you laughed? You want to laugh? I shared an off-the-cuff singing video last night. Let me tell you, I laughed my ass off at the end of that because I bombed the last song so bad. It was a singing practice video, and I'm very authentic, so like I let y'all see everything. I don't edit my stuff except for when I'm making side messages, right? Clips for content. But I don't cut things out. If I screw up, I screw up and I roll with it. So make mistakes. Make good mistakes though. Make new learning mistakes. Again, we go back to the Page of Swords, right? You're looking at studying something. Maybe it's a new way of life. Maybe simply sitting at a park, observing people, observing the way they interact with each other, you know, becoming more aware of other people in real life. So for some people, they haven't quite come back from the way things have changed since 2020, right? So there's a lot of people who are still living very remote lives, living online more than living in the real world. And that's all a construct. It's all perceptions and projections. When you study people and you pay attention to how people interact, and then you study yourself and you learn how to grow and build upon that, you not only become a much more attentive, loving person who has a lot more to offer, but you also can gauge people's true intentions. You can master the art of discernment and using your intellect. And you can also observe your own patterns through mindfulness, through the willingness to be ready to accept judgment upon yourself. You see, if you're looking at the dirt and you're able to process it yourself, you're bound to be a lot less protective against other people because you know your shadow. And also, if you're concerned about other people preying on your vulnerabilities, some of you have had that happen with the Five of Swords in reverse and the King of Cups in reverse. Not to be hyper vigilant, not to give into fear response, but you can learn how to observe people and know what their intentions are. And you tap into that intuition, these psychic senses, which I feel like we started with that group and we kind of veered off into multiple groups of the collective. But once you understand your intuition and you can trust it, you can trust yourself, you can learn to trust other people. And people are worth trusting. You know, if you take your head out of all the content that's being projected out there, if you stop doom scrolling or at least cut your stuff down, if you don't go and lose hours upon hours scrolling and then be like, oh wow, what was I doing with my life? And you start to be more in the present moment, you start to find more meaning in life. And when you observe life happening around you, you less focus on how life is happening to you. It can help you have different perspectives. And that's even a form of meditation, believe it or not. You know, maybe just, I've said this before, go to a diner and have a cup of coffee or something and just watch the world around you. I mean, some of you, I gotta ask, how often do you actually note that the person of service that's you're relying on for your food, for your groceries, for your car rides, for your house cleaning for some of you, for your pet care, for who cares? People of service, people out there working normal jobs, doing normal things. How often do you actually look at them as a human being and try to have a conversation with them? How often do you make a point of saying, hey, I see you? You want human kindness? Start giving human kindness. I've worked service jobs. I know what I'm talking about. I've also been that person who's been totally ignored and felt like a freaking robot. And I've worked in work environments that made me feel that way, who didn't encourage loving support. So some of you really need to find loving support out there. And then I pull the Knight of Pentacles. I feel like Spirit's really trying to like go off on this whole other tangent, but I'm going to have to pull it in here. And I do hope this reading served everyone. This Knight of Pentacles, this is a guardian angel. Someone is looking out for you. For those of you that hung until the end, there is somebody in spirit who is guiding you right now on your journey. And there's someone you can count on. Maybe just start talking to your loved ones in spirit. You know, you can call it prayer, you can call it meditation, you can call it journaling out loud, whatever. Just see what comes up. Start processing. You'll find your way. And if you need more help, I offer spiritual guidance in all my readings, and I'd be happy to help you to the best of my ability, of course. So, looking forward to working with you. Alright, as one last bonus here, I don't think I'm going to pull an oracle and do a psychic read on it, because I feel like we've been going for a long time. I try to keep these readings under an hour and 45 minutes at least. I feel like I want to read, I don't usually do this, but I want to read from the Black Moon Astrology on the Cancer I Feel card, and also the Hanged One from the Herbcrafters Tarot, because we're talking about Pisces and Cancer, right? Water, feminine. Cancer is cardinal energy. That means go-getter, initiators, you know. So starting these emotional conversations as well in a positive way, like normalizing emotions in society, is something that could be very helpful. And it starts small with talking about your experience, you know, like I'm doing here. I put my vulnerabilities out there because, for one, I know I'm protected by the divine, For two, I'm confident enough to do so because I know who I am because I did the work. And I'll always be doing the work. We're all going to be doing the work, okay? It's not something that's one and done and then you got everything you ever wanted. Sorry to say, sure, you can have a great life and you can move forward and you can have so much more, but that's not why we do it. If you look at it more long term, if you understand that time is not what we think it is, you understand that the soul is constantly evolving. It is constantly changing. Okay, so again, I don't like to read everything in the book because I believe in supporting other people's work. And I want people to feel inspired to pick up their own decks if they can. They'll say, okay, card number 16, Cancer, I Feel, page 70, 71, and 72. The quote here is, your feelings are your God. The soul is your temple. Chanakya. I think I pronounced that correctly. I hope so. Chanakya. Could be Chanakya. Your feelings are your God. The soul is your temple. Wow, that is so appropriate for everything I was talking about. Emotions and feelings and spirituality and receiving divine support and love. Once you've had a taste of that love from the divine, you truly feel supported in anything you do. That's how you find your self-love. They work together. And it's nobody's business. If you don't want to share it, if it's very private for you, then keep it private, keep it holy, keep it sacred, you know? Oftentimes we tell people out of excitement new paths, right? Like a new spiritual path. And then we do sometimes receive a lot of judgment from others. And that can kind of deter us from further exploring. And eventually you kind of work up that self-esteem where you don't let other people dictate your actions based on their thoughts of what you're doing. As long as you're not harming others or yourself, then you know that what you're doing, you're called to do for a reason. And these water energies are all about tapping into the intuition, okay? Tapping into the way you feel. And then the first line here, rely upon the wisdom of what you feel right now. So whatever you're feeling right now in response to what I said, trust that. And if you're feeling resistance, then, you know, that's cool, man. I appreciate you following this reading. You are a trooper. That says something about you. Even if you don't vibe with my message, the fact that you chose to invest time on this instead of doom scrolling or something, give yourself some credit for that. Even if you're judging me, I don't care. Good job to you. It's called transmuting energy. Cancers are resilient, endure much, and can overcome just about anything, which seems peculiar because they are so sensitive, right? So that's the, you know, emotions are highly underestimated in this society. Regulated emotions, balanced emotions, emotionally driven, sensitive people. We're not going to go into why that is at the end of this reading, but we all know it to be true. The Chariot card represents Cancer as well, not just the moon. And that's the Emperor riding the chariot into destiny, into forward movement quickly towards a journey on their path, something they're accomplishing, inspired to do, move towards, passionate about, that brings a great feeling and forward movement, right? And there's also the yin and yang concept, the black and white, the this or that. It's the integration of the self. To be able to move forward on your spiritual journey. And it requires great feeling and understanding what drives you. What drives you? Even if it seems stupid, what is it that you like to do? I don't know. You could build birdhouses out of popsicle sticks. I don't know, that just came up for me. Maybe somebody does that, or somebody used to love or love does that. Um, Maybe you like writing haikus. Maybe you enjoy reading books and talking about them. I don't know. It could be something so mundane or it could be spectacular. Maybe you like doing humanitarian things like volunteering um, in whatever capacity, officially or not. Tap into what makes you feel, and you'll start tapping into where you're supposed to be. Okay? Let that feeling take you on a journey. And if you need someone to guide you on that journey, then seek the support. People who understand and how to nurture you and help you nurture yourself. Again, like attracts like. You start associating with soul tribe and real people who actually have real feelings and care and are mature about life. You'll start to emanate that energy as well. And it's not to copycat. You can't fake feelings. You actually have to develop them and regulate them yourself. But once you learn how to do that, you can become unstoppable in your chariot. So, key ideas of this card: inner awareness, memory, the past, hiding, seclusion, mothers in the womb. Don't hide in the past. That's another message here. Don't get lost in your memories. It's good to note them, but to actively learn how to transmute them and move past them, because there's a difference between nostalgia and rumination. Remember that. Nostalgia is something that you're typically fond of, something from the past that makes you feel good. By the way, that could be an indication of something that you might want to revisit as far as bringing your emotional, sensitive, creative side out. Nostalgia can help you there. Rumination is when we get stuck in loops and cycles, and that's actually usually mental loops, like the Eight of Swords card is coming to mind right now. Mental loops that cause emotional upset and dysregulation. Okay? So keep that in mind. Meditation can help with this, going within, speaking to higher spiritual authorities. You got this. I think that's all I'm going to read from the Black Moon. Let's check out what the Herbcrafter has to say with the Hanged One. I believe it was represented by Burdock, if I am correct about that. I believe 16 is represented by the Tower, right? Interesting. As far as the Cancer I Feel card, some of you have been having a Tower moment in regards to your emotions. That's definitely confirmed. It's for your growth. It's to help you, okay? Trust the process. Huh. Interesting. For those of you that have done the work and are holding space, I thank you so much for being here. If you have any tips or tools or ways that you have learned to work with your emotions or your spiritual path or discover your passions, or you know, resources maybe that you have that could help people in the community who are struggling, you know, try to keep them balanced. But I would love for people to put some positive feedback, because this is a community. And remember that while a lot of people don't want to take the time to listen to a long form message, I'm taking the time to do this of service, right? I'm taking the time to be here for the collective and pour out my passions and my emotional sensitivities for the world to see, to help make positive change. And you don't have to go start your own platform to do that. You can start small. Just And it starts inward, right? You do it for yourself, and then you can do it for others, and then you see other people doing it for you. It's an energetic boomerang, okay? So the Hanged One, Burdock, number 12, Arctium Lapa, page 25 in the book of the Herbcrafter's Tarot. It says here, embrace a foe as a friend. Tap into nourishment found in the depths. Let go of control. Lasting change takes time. Well, that just pretty much said it all, didn't it? Find ways to befriend your shadow. Find comfort in the deep. Trust the process and embrace the tower. You got this, collective. Empower yourself, and the world will smile upon you. And sure, the world can crap all over you too. But what world do you want to build? Do you want to be the magician, or do you want to be the fool? And both have many beneficial aspects to them. Sure, being ignorant and taking a leap into the unknown, that's how you become more wise on the magician's path. You have to start somewhere, right? So just start. Do one thing today, whenever you're catching this. Something that you've been wanting to do for yourself for a long time. It could be something as simple as like reading a chapter out of one of your favorite books, or calling a friend that you haven't talked to in a long time, or for those of you that are more artistic, maybe picking up an old instrument or drawing again. Some of you, it's about intellectual stimulation, like maybe go play a board game with a friend. And I really want to encourage people to actually take these intangible thoughts and feelings and put them in a physical, tangible way to help you process, to embrace these new feelings. I hope that helped some people in the collective. I look forward to seeing what side messages these have